어릴 적엔 비가 오는 게 싫었어.
Hello, hi guys. I'm Victoria and you're here on my channel Victoria Christina. If you have already subscribed and you're returning, thank you so much for returning to my channel. I hope that you enjoyed my last video. I know that it was a bit prehistoric in the way that I didn't edit at all. But if you still enjoyed it and decided to return, I really appreciate it. And for all my new subscribers, hi! Thanks for visiting the channel. This channel is basically going to talk about my time in Korea, visiting Korea, hopefully some language content and travel content and just shopping and lots of fun. So if all of that sounds really good to you or exciting or of interest, please consider sticking around, subscribe, like, and comment something below that you want me to know. Yeah. What are we talking about today? Let's take a look. Today, I wrote my list on the back of the receipt. Today, we are going to be talking about some of the stresses that I have experienced in preparing for this move to South Korea. Whew. It's not a very fun topic, but it's one that while I was preparing, getting ready for this move, I searched online a lot for people that we can relate to, people who say like they've also experienced things like you're not crazy, everyone's going through the same kind of troubles and having a really hard time with this or that. And I found like when I went on YouTube, I didn't hear a lot of that. There was no one to commiserate with. So if you are looking for someone to commiserate with, you want someone who feels your pain, then please grab some coffee. I got an iced coffee venti from Starbucks. I get mine with only 2 shots of classic. Don't know why I told you that, but yeah, get yourself some coffee or a drink, some matcha or a maca powder latte. I don't know what you drink, but get some because we're gonna get into some of, the stress that can come when you're moving abroad alone for the first time. So the first stress that I have listed down is called right out of college. I was right out of college. In fact, I didn't even have my degree yet when I was applying for this job. And there's something to be said for the level of uncertainty one feels when they just graduated college and they don't have a real job yet. And I didn't do any internships, so I just felt really unprepared for the real world. And like, whether or not I prepared, it was coming for me anyway. And I know that everyone feels that, but that doesn't make it invalid to feel it or make it invalid that you're like concerned about that. So that was a really big stress for me. I was thinking right out of college, I saw people going straight into the job that they interned at or moving to New York and doing this like big internship, or like I saw that people would go straight to grad school or be applying for grad school. And I was like, oh my God, this is the only time I'm going to be right after college. I have to do this right out of college and this right. I have to do this right out of college, this justice. And I feel like I was putting way too much pressure on myself to use my degree and my education to the fullest. And I hadn't even gotten my degree yet. So how I dealt with that is, Faith, if you're watching this, I love you. I got up and left the state. I straight up packed up my things and I moved with my sister to Texas and I stayed there for like 2+ months and I did nothing. That's it. And I know that not everyone has that, freedom or that luxury, but I did and I took advantage of it. So I went to stay with my sister and she bought groceries and I did yoga and I meditated and I ran at the park and I volunteered a little bit and I researched and I looked at jobs when I felt like it, and when I didn't, I watched anime. Like that's what I did and it worked really well for me. It felt really good to have a safe space where I knew I could be there for a year and Faith wouldn't view me, my sister, wouldn't view me as any less than or less important. She wouldn't rush me to get a job because it's hard and this time is already really hard. You don't need to make it hard on yourself with unrealistic expectations. That was my first really big stress moving to Korea. And if you're feeling the stress, I just want to let you know that one, It is so valid for you to be nervous right out of college. Spend our whole life prepping. Middle school, you're trying to get into a good high school. High school, oh my God, what if I don't get into a good college? College, like, oh my God, this is so hard. I need to get great grades. I need to get straight A's. I was that student. And it's like, I've done all this work, and now there's supposed to be some big fireworks ceremony at the end, and you're worried that you're not prepared for the ceremony. You didn't bring a costume for the parade, and that's okay. There's no parade, there's no fireworks, there's no costume. There's a lot of work and there's a lot of time, is what I realized. There's so much time to work, so much time to pick the perfect job. And so do what you're interested in, pick something, and be open to the idea of taking baby steps and not being perfect all the time, slowing down a bit. And I hope that if you subscribed that you'll watch me as I figure it out. That one was long. Number 2, virus procedures. This stressed me the F out, okay? You have to take a test to get on the plane to South Korea, and then you have to take another test after you get off of the plane from South Korea. It might sound like, to people who haven't been through this process, like, okay, just don't get sick. But I'd like you guys to be afraid of the air. Try being afraid of the air. I'm afraid of the air. I'm afraid of going outside. I can't even order groceries to my house without being scared to touch the groceries because of these trying times we're in. So it's very stressful because of the, we're gonna call it Omegaverse. Because of the Omegaverse virus that recently came about, the symptoms are the same as if I have the cold, if I have the flu, a sore throat. And so anytime I'm sniffing or I cough or I choke on the water, because I'm the kind of person that can't even drink water correctly without choking or having the hiccups, I think that I've got the Omegaverse, and it stresses me out because it just feels like I did all this work since August, preparing to go to something that I plan to at least take up the next year of my life, and that the last 6 months and the next year of my life are riding on me not getting Omegaverse, which is flying around invisible in the air, and it stresses me out. All like laughing and jokes aside, it's stressful, feeling like you don't have any control over it. Like, you can get the vaccine, you can do your best to be prepared, you can stay inside as much as possible, you can order food to your door, but at the end of the day, you don't have control over it. And I'm the kind of person, I'm learning that I really have to learn to thrive in situations where I lack control, because we never really have control, as we learned in this time. That's been a really big source of stress for me. I'm getting over it. As of course, it helps that I've got only 1 week left. So if I don't get over it, then I mean, what happens gonna happen, you know? But definitely when it feels like there's months left and like lots of time, it's stressful. And so that's something to consider. Yeah, just recognize as you're preparing. The next step is money. Money. Have you moved abroad before? Comment below if you've moved abroad before, especially alone. If you have, tell me one tip that you have in terms of money. How to prepare money to go, especially right out of college, because I didn't have a full-time job. My full-time job was being a student. And so needing to somehow materialize the coins to move abroad, fly abroad, live until my first paycheck, which could be anywhere from 1 month to 2 months after I get there, was stressful, especially when, like I said, I didn't get my degree until December and I leave in February. So when was I supposed to work this 9-to-5 6-figure job to save up enough to leave in February and feel like I can survive in a foreign country by myself for that time? So here's what I did to tackle it. I did what I could. I got a job at a ramen shop. I continued tutoring. I tutor beginner Korean language. I have an Etsy shop for herbs and oils, which it sounds really fancy. It makes $50 a month, that's it. And I worked my butt off at that job, at least 30 hours a week. And I saved up as much as I could, and that's what I did. And then I was lucky and grateful enough that I have siblings and aunts and uncles and parents and friends that support me. Even, oh my god, there's someone that I tutor. Her name's Grace. Grace, shout out to you. She sent me money for my graduation, and those things that people think are so insignificant or little just mean the world to you, especially when it's like someone who's already paying for my service. Like, you're paying for my service and then you're still going out of your way to help me because you care about me. Just like, I know not everyone's in a situation where they just have people around them that will give them money, but one thing I learned about, if you do have people around you that give you money, learn to say thank you. You don't have to be sorry. People want to help you out just as you would want to help them out if you were in the position to and they were moving and, you know, they were stressed. And so learning to accept things in that kind of situation, learn to accept and instead live with an air of gratitude and graciousness surrounding it. And then also, you know, do what you can to make your own money. I saved up as much as I could, and I feel very secure moving abroad now. If you feel insecure about moving abroad, I definitely would say do your best. Get the job that you can and work in the time that you can. Also consider that working in the food service industry means you're going to be around a lot of people who might be coughing and sneezing, and that might tamper with this point before this, which was not getting Omegaverse. Okay. If you want to see or read about a whole lot of people who have been in your situation where they couldn't save a lot of money, they could save $300 and that's it, and they went, go on Dave's ESL Cafe. They have a lot of forums of people just talking about how they survived off of kimbap and didn't go shopping and didn't take the train, and they survived until their first check, and they did it. So if you do want successful stories from people who don't get, you know, any kind of handouts or any kind of help, then definitely look at Dave's ESL Cafe. If you're willing to live like below your means for a month or a month and a half, you've got this. You've got this. My Instagram is going to be at the end of this video and the ending credits, which I really hope you like. So please don't hesitate to DM me if you want to chat, you know? Oh, job uncertainty. Wow. If you have ever looked up teachers at hagwons in Korea, you will know that hagwons have nothing but horror stories. This person never got paid. This person didn't get severance. This teacher called them that. This kind of racial comment. This kind of blah, 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 blah. They fired me without letting me know. They didn't let me know the day was off. And like, almost don't even go down the rabbit hole, I would say. I think that it was helpful to go down the rabbit hole to realize like, all this stuff is possible. But at the same time, it's not helpful at all, because fear mongering and creating fear around something that you want to do isn't going to prepare you to go. It isn't going to prepare you for those situations at all. I mean, it makes you aware at best. But what I would say is just look up your hagwon, the specific place, the specific location in South Korea, the city and the company. Look that up on the blacklist. See if the blacklist says anything about it, and if it was in the last 10 years that anyone had something negative to say about your hagwon. And if they didn't, then maybe try talking to a teacher that's there. I've talked to teachers at my hagwon, and they both are sweet people. I am very grateful for them. I feel so much more secure going. And then trust yourself. Trust that if you walk into a situation that's horrible, that you wish you never walked into, that you will be able to leave and you'll be able to find another solution, or you'll be able to deal with it as things come, that you'll be able to roll with the punches. I trust that you can roll with the punches if you're moving to South Korea. The very last thing, which I haven't dealt with yet, that causes me a bit of stress, more than stress, it just causes me sadness, is saying goodbye. I can't really say goodbye to my family for specific circumstances, and it makes me really sad, particularly for my younger siblings. I just feel like they're at this pivotal age where things change every year and they get taller and their interests change, and I wish I could be there. Obviously not enough to stay. They're just the sweetest mini human beings on earth, and I'm so grateful to be attached to them in a familiar way, and I'm going to write letters to them often, but saying goodbye is going to be really, really hard. Not saying goodbye to the US or my city, I don't mind it too much, but to family, to friends, to people who have cared about me and supported me throughout this. Saying goodbye is a hard thing, and it is a cause of stress. Saying goodbye to people's pets is probably a cause of stress, like not seeing your pet for a year. And so I wanted to validate that stress as well. It's totally valid to be scared to say goodbye and to be stressed about saying goodbye, and for that to not be a fun thing. It doesn't make you less prepared to go to Korea or whatever negative thing you might have in your mind. It makes you human, and it makes you probably loving, that you care about the people around you enough to miss them and have that be a stressor in your life. It's goodbye for now, not goodbye forever. And just know that, you know, it's time to launch off your life and have a good time. Subscribe and comment below what kind of videos you want to see. I really appreciate you sitting through this video if you did, and just supporting me and hearing my qualms about moving to South Korea. We didn't really drink our drink. Take a big sip. Stay tuned. Check back twice a week. See if I posted something. And yeah, love you guys. Stay safe.